Welcome to the Wildlife Podcast, where we connect with industry experts and individuals based around what we have determined to be the 8 dimensions of wellness.
Yeah, today we got Steve. He's on our podcast now, but he's the one that does the podcast, all right?
Usually behind the cameras.
Yeah, he runs the media team that we work with that puts out all the great content that you guys see. And he's pretty much recently started that brand himself as well, just over a year ago.
Yeah,
right?
similar to you guys,
Yeah.
I think, like right around maybe like 5 or 6 months earlier
Yeah.
than you guys got into the game.
So appreciate you being on, taking the time out of your day.
Yeah, thanks
you,
for
man.
having me. It's fun to be on camera instead of behind it.
Appreciate right, you taking the time, because we know how much time you put in for us as a client. There's obviously other clients that you have to put time into, so it means a lot to have you on this side of the camera.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm always happy to do this stuff.
So as we get into it, I know we kind of just mentioned you kind of lead up our social media, our media management team. But give a little background about you, who you are, what your story is, how you got to kind of founding the company that you have now.
Yeah, I guess I can give like a shortened version, a condensed version. The long version will be here for a long time. I guess going back, I'm not like what you'd call a purebred entrepreneur. Like I feel like there's a lot of people out there who just could never do anything else. Like they just always had a drive to do something for themselves.
They're always hustling, kind of what you mean.
Right, like to me, if you've met Buddy, like Buddy's a lifelong, like he's just entrepreneur, moved on to the next thing, built businesses, sold businesses. Like
shout out to Saltwater, Long Island.
Yeah, they're a great client as well. But that like drive and that passion, like it didn't naturally come.
Yeah.
I was never that like, I have to figure out a way to do this myself. I've worked for other people. I've had other jobs. Yeah. But during that period after college where I had my first job and I was working for other people, I kind of saw this need for better content for social media.
Yeah.
And in a previous organization that I was with called Movers that I helped to found, we started like a music festival. We did all these different things. And a lot of what we did was built off the backs of great content and social media. And so over time, that became something that people came to us for. It became something that like we developed a product and we tested out and we figured out like, okay, this is how much people charge for this type of thing. And it started at, we'll shoot a video for $250. Let's try it. And over time you build up the skills, you build up the necessary, proof of, your use cases and all the different things that you have that show that you do great work and that you're able to help people build their businesses. And then, from there I created MMP Creations, which is the company that I have now, and went out on my own from that team. Some of those guys I still work with pretty regularly. Cool. But that was, for me, it was the focus that I needed to let go of like a bunch of other things that I was doing and really just focus on building an actual business for myself.
That's great.
So doing that for now almost 2 years, and we're right around the corner from you guys, right here in the village.
We've got a really good background story. We're trying to build a business. TJ and I here doing our own content. You send us a cold DM. We meet. Yeah. We're really we were excited about the things that you brought to the table just from first meeting, just your vision kind of from a media standpoint. And that's kind of the basis of the story you're telling with MMP. But what is MMP? Like, what are you trying to do for businesses?
Yeah, so our main goal is to help drive attention and opportunity for businesses. That's really the focus. How do we take attention and turn it into opportunity? Yeah. Turn that into clients, turn that into new people coming into the gym or new people buying a product that you have. That's really what our focus is. It's using creativity to drive that attention.
Yeah. What do you think people get wrong about social media? So I think that it's like everyone has it.
Yeah.
Right? I think we talk about a lot that you can just be used incorrectly.
One, if you're as a distraction.
Yeah, as a distraction. And that maybe doesn't have to be kind of the course you take with that answer, but like a lot of times it mostly for the regular person, if you don't have a business, it is just kind of a distraction thing. And we kind of talk about like how can you optimize it for yourself? Kind of what do you think people kind of get wrong? And you can stick to the business end of it. And kind of how you guys come in and straighten that up
I think it's twofold. The first thing that people get wrong with their content, or that I think people get wrong, because really everything we're doing is just educated guesses. It's trying things out, seeing if they work, seeing
Yeah.
if they don't, being nimble to make those choices. I think people sell too much through
Yeah.
social. And by sell too much, I think, like, I'll take restaurants, for example. I'm sick of seeing food photos.
Yeah.
Just from like, tell me the story behind
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Which is, I feel like I've heard you use that term before. I actually wrote it down in some pre-notes, but you considering your marketing company, right, media company, a storytelling, branding kind of company, instead of just a let's get leads to you, or let's see how many likes we can get on your Instagram post.
Our goal is attention and opportunity, but the way we do it is with creative storytelling and helping you to actually tell the story of your brand.
Naturally selling.
Yeah, because that attracts people to
Yeah.
you. You know, like if they view you guys as the authority in your field, people are going to come to you with their questions. They're going to come to you with their ideas. And then you're, you know, being who you are, you're just going to give them what they need, which is help in those areas.
I think that's such an important thing because so restaurants, personal training, things are in this, we're all service industry businesses that get commoditized very quickly. So we all can be kind of providing the same thing.
Yeah.
How many steakhouses are there in Huntington to Long Island to Suffolk County, right in that area?
Yeah.
So if you're just posting your best steak, how do you differentiate what steakhouse you're coming to? But if you tell the story about the guy that made it, or how it's getting made, the person that's
Where'd the cow come
serving
from?
it to you,
Yeah.
something that's a little bit deeper, where you can attract way more around that.
Yeah, and that might not be for everyone. Like restaurants in particular are a really tough business because the margins are so low on what they're doing. So for them, they may just be focused on like, how can I get people through the door as often as possible? But if you're an established organization, if you're an established restaurant who hasn't been like telling the story, who's only been focusing on how can I get people through the door, you're missing out on something. You're missing out on a larger opportunity to bring in a new audience and to have people actually connect with the brand that you've built.
Yeah, personalizing that brand.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you guys have done an incredible job with our bi-weekly meetings, getting kind of cranking on the fun side of stuff, which, right, everything should be fun to a certain extent within your brand, within your business, right, as shouldn't feel like work every day. And I feel like it's fun filming with you and creating a story, but having, right, just the camera rolling, Sal naturally getting a clip or doing something, and it just happens, right, and it makes it fun. Even the skits we've drawn up that are scripted and are so, like, push to be some type of something that we're selling, right? But it's funny. But this kind of made me think, what kind of in your journey kind of made you shift, right, your career slightly, or made you like, was there like an aha moment of like, wow, I want to do this, or you not being motivated to be just an entrepreneur, right? I could have just kept training and done my hour-to-hour training, but right, I spoke about on your podcast, having a partner, having, you know, a girlfriend and wanting to have a family one day and an established asset in that sense, but also create something that's going to help a lot of people and be a story instead of just a cash stream of income to work off of, right? Is there anything for yourself that you saw to shift in your own personal kind of sights or how you approach life to like move? It might be a pretty loaded question, but
yeah, there's a lot there. I think again,
Yeah.
I think it's another two-part answer.
Totally.
The first thing that like major moment was COVID and the pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
It shifted me from, I was doing a lot of freelance event stuff. I was still kind of freelancing, doing, you know, putting these video projects together with people. I was working on the music festival. I was working on.
Yeah. So you started out as cameraman, kind of like doing a lot of the film pictures stuff behind, or what was
I
your start?
dabbled in that
Okay.
a little bit, but I was never really that person who was behind the camera too much.
Okay.
I was always like the producer.
Gotcha.
In that scenario, like kind of still a similar role that I hold today. More about like how can we craft the vision, how can we craft the story.
Cool.
And then there's always guys like Sal and Eric and
To do the real work.
right who are really great at what they do. For real, to do the real work. Like, you know, there are different pieces of the machine that are necessary to produce great work, and they always have a different vision, or I'll bring something to the table and they say, oh, maybe we can do it like this. And it always leads to an improved product at the end of the day.
So did you have a first marketing type job and then you went freelance? Is that how that transition went?
Yeah, so it was, I had an internship when I was just out of school that turned into like other freelance jobs with events. I was doing like some audio stuff on the side. And then I got a job out at a marketing agency in Bohemia and it was like I was hired to their digital team, which was one lady who was like 55 years old, and then me.
Yeah.
And I was also in a position where I was managing everything for those accounts.
Okay.
And the media was subpar, if there was any at all, if it wasn't just graphics. Mind you, this is like 2016.
Okay.
So it's like the real video wave hadn't hit yet, but a lot of what we were doing for fun on the sides was like a lot of video stuff. And it was working for building our side projects with the music festival and stuff like that. But I couldn't bring something to the table and have it understood. It was a traditional marketing agency trying to learn digital. And so they hired like a kid who didn't know anything, me, to work with an adult who also didn't know anything.
And then still keep it within the confines of something that's traditional.
Right. It was it was a very interesting situation. That agency's still around, and they do a lot of digital work now, and I'm sure they've improved since then. But just being there and seeing that, I was like, there's got to be... I was also miserable. I was working...
That'll spark.
Make a move. And that's everyone's like... And that's often the entrepreneurial journey is like someone gets sick of a job or they're like, I can do this better. And then it forces them into... Well, fuck, now I have to run a business and I have to learn all these different things. And it's like, okay, maybe it is a little bit more difficult than I thought. But that was the ultimate driver for me. It was like, there's opportunity out here. And I had a couple of friends who I would go to work every day and then I'd go to gym after. And then I would meet up with these friends. We would just kind of like talk ideas and we built a community. And that's kind of how I met Sal. It's how I met Eric. It's how I met all these people that are now like people that I work with or that are still in my lives in some capacity. And we just created this community without having a true goal to it. It was really just to bring people together who thought that maybe there could be something, bigger out there or some other project. And that's how we developed the music festival over time. And, from there, it really just turned into being one of the things that we offered was like, people were coming to us for video work because we were like the creative guys. So then to answer the second part of your question was those partners from that business were actually the catalyst to me doing this because we had a meeting one day and I was trying to like turn what we had into an agency, but it was really a community. So it had like this weird push-pull, like, are we helping people? Are we trying to get people as clients? And they were like, Steve, you should just do this on your own. Like, it's not hurting us if you go out there and do something on your own.
Yeah.
And that was like the kick that I needed to just say like, well, I really could do this. Like this has been my vision the entire time here. It just never materialized. I left that like organization. I'm still really good friends with those guys. And some of them I work with still to this day.
Cool.
But they were like the real catalyst to me starting on this journey.
Yeah. It's great to have people that can like kind of ignite that fire.
Yeah.
Right? They were like, there was like some kindling there.
And those guys,
right?
they were always those guys. They were always the like hype you up, like get you going type of guys. And I needed to just take that step and go out there and fail on my own, really.
Well, it's good. It's good to have, I think we talk a lot about kind of having support, people around you. Big reason why we want to do group training here at 8well. Right, because a lot of that is just having community, right? If you have good people around you, right, it'll continue to kind of just push you forward.
Yeah, I mean that's the accountability piece we were kind of talking about before this. That's how I've kind of like set up my life in general. It's like accountability to me is such a huge piece to just getting started and continuing. Whether it's in the gym, like I'm new to 8well now.
New member here, Steve,
and like. The first week I'm here, I have like a weight rack in my garage at home, and I've got like a bar and some weights. But doing a workout at home versus doing a workout here, the difference is I have OC. Like you have 7 more reps, and I'm like at home that bar would be on the ground. And I have like negotiating with him. He's like, you're gonna do 5 more at this weight, and then you're gonna drop the weight. He's like, we need to get these. You need to get to these 20 reps. Where like that's the accountability that I need to actually push myself to the next level. So in my business, I've set it up where I have, different people that I'm accountable to, whether it's clients or friends on the outside who I tell things to. that are like constantly checking in. How are you doing this? Or like, are you staying on track?
Yeah.
Joe from Saltwater is like basically like an accountability partner for me in the podcast that I do, because if he's not driving it, I'll just kind of let it go and I'll start working on other stuff.
Yeah.
So he's got to be like, hey, when are we doing another podcast? And it's
very easy with all these things going on for something to be like, oh, it's been 3 weeks or whatever, right? Like something to fall.
Yeah, it's very easy to miss a class. But when I see you guys, you're like, how's the workout going, Steve? For 6 months in my ear, and it's
I finally got him.
Yeah, you broke me.
I just every biweekly meeting, I just tried to guilt you. How's the workouts going, Steve? How's the progress? And he's like,
yeah, feeling
you're
good.
Right, you're right. I do need to start.
Yeah, every single time I was like, I just need to start. Yeah, I just need to start.
We all have drivers, right? They're going to be internal factors, external factors.
Yep.
Internally could be some motivation, but kind of to what you're saying, right? It's these external factors that you've built for yourself that allow you to keep pushing forward. It's something that's going to check in with you, or a process that you can kind of fall back on.
For me, it's a team. Like I'm accountable to we have a team of 4 people, like that get paid. You know, like that's how they eat. This is their job. So that to me is a huge driver, because it's like, man, there are days that I don't want to get out of bed, but like I got to go.
You have to
do some stuff, or like Eric's not going to be able to survive on it. You know, like he's going to have to go get another job, and like that sucks. Like now we've done all this for nothing. Yeah. So it's like that, I don't know, a little bit of fear that drives you a little bit. But then
definitely.
Yeah, you need that. I personally need something to kickstart me.
Yeah.
Always.
That's a good kind of just intertwining with we tell people, like, you just got to get started, even in fitness.
Yeah.
So it's once you get started, if you have an accountability partner, now you have to keep going, right? So if I get started in fitness and I bring a friend and they're still going, they're going to keep messaging me to get there. You start at 8, well, we're going to text you so you missed a couple classes to make sure you're back in here, right? You've got to get up and produce at work because you got a team that's going to say, I got to get a paycheck on Friday. Right, or I need to grow in my career. Right, we got to keep building forward. Like you said, it was a tough decision to go just be an entrepreneur. But once you started, and now you have a staff behind you, you have to make sure they're fed.
And now it's like
or
a business.
It blows up. Now it's a business.
You can't
how did I get here?
You did this. Yeah.
Now you have clients. That you're accountable to.
Yeah. That is wellness, really. Right. That's like the balance that we preach of. Not so much so that hardcore balance of everything, right? Healthy versus unhealthy, but the balancing every aspect of your life in wellness of like, okay, you needed the push to get back and work out again. It's sitting in your house at home. It's very easy to the weight's there. Load it up, pick it up, do it for 45 minutes, right? But why don't people do it? Well, you found, right, what worked for you. You said, all right, you know what? I got to just rip the Band-Aid off and commit. You did. You committed. Now you're in it, right? Now you're in it, and it's a lot easier because you're in it, right? And people have struggles with all different aspects of that. It's like, my credit card debt's been in the hole for certain amounts. I'm only making minimum payments. Well, why don't you just figure out or finally do what you need to do, or talk to the person, sit down with the person you need to talk to, right? And like make that push to finally just do it. Sometimes that is just the hardest thing in any aspect of your life. But are there any things this is from kind of coming from me personally, is there anything as an entrepreneur, especially right as someone, because I was like the hustle type of wanting to go to the gym and work out early and stay accountable on my end in that way, and sports end, right, for training for baseball when I was younger. I was motivated in those capacities, but wasn't necessarily like a business hustler, a money hustler, right? I was a very shy kid, didn't have the natural, and introverted, so I didn't have the natural, like, let's get up and go do it and be the talker and be the energy and be this and be that, right? I figured out how to do it, but what would you give if there's a couple of tips or things that you've put in place for yourself, whether it's a tip or something you do for like young entrepreneurs or people that are out there or want to maybe aspire to own companies someday or do something on their own, but they're not sure how to go about it? Is there anything that you either do or any advice you'd give to them as an entrepreneur?
I mean, I guess I can only speak for my experiences.
Of course, yeah. Give something direct if it's not an overall point of view, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've accomplished very little to even have this conversation and to lend this advice, but just to get to a point where we have
But you've business. Also, I'll say this real quick, sorry to cut you off, you've accomplished so much for the brands that you've worked for.
That's true.
Right? I was doing pretty much the media end here. Tyler and I were trying to plan these videos and conversations and do stuff, but
In between everything else.
but my mind was just nonstop bombarded going home and just like making food while I'm trying to think about a media concept and write it down again, and the next morning again, and trying to put it into play. And right, if I almost made a list, that list was only good for a couple of days, and then I need to go and think about another list while I'm in my day in between training sessions. So that, right, has taken so much stress off of me, I feel like, and made just how I live my life better. Right, sleeping better, like having better relationships in and out of the gym, I think, because I have more energy that I could put towards other things. So don't even, I know what you mean.
Also, a very little percentage of people in this country are business owners.
Yes.
Right.
And have employees. Most businesses are single employee businesses. You have 3
Right.
employees,
And that's
3 or 4 employees are
I guess
paid
that's
by
the
you.
difference is if you want to creating a job for yourself. Like I could have always freelanced, and I feel like I would always survive. I would always have money, and maybe even more than I have now, if I just worked for other people doing jobs. But I think building a sustainable business that can grow and support people and also take weight off my shoulders was always the goal. So to get started, the things that I did was like literally you just have to start and try something. There's been so many clients that I've had that are like trying to determine the perfect project or the perfect process, or they really want to get it down before putting it into practice. But sometimes what you have to do is put it into practice and just fail a bunch and figure out like
Fail fast.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're going to fail, and that's something that I still hate to this day is the failure that happens every single day. But I fail more than probably most people out there, because that's the way to move forward, is to put yourself out there and be like, get the no's, get the people who are like, no, that's not even close to what I need. And then, it's a lot of testing and a lot of like people coming at you and saying, no, that's not good for me. Or, finding you guys through just a random DM and being like, this is a really cool brand. These are cool guys I think we could really work with.
Think about that. How many DMs did you send to, and I'll just say within the fitness community, right?
Hundreds.
To get one.
Yeah.
And you have a big clientele, but right, just to get that yes, right, you have to go through 1,000 no's.
But from you guys, from that perspective, I wasn't sending out the same DM to every gym on Long Island.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I really wasn't.
Yeah, right.
I sent out a DM to you guys that, like, I think I said something along the lines of, like, you guys are right around the corner. I think you guys have the personality, and, like, I think you have a really cool brand that we could build with. I would love to meet with you and see if that even makes sense for your business.
Sure.
And you guys were like, I think you answered me like the next day or pretty right away. And we just had a meeting, and then it was cool. We're going to do a shoot in a couple of weeks.
We both hated you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, but it's
We're just coming around.
It is awkward. It's awkward. Like I came in here to pitch you guys, and like Victoria was sitting at the desk. And like OC was in the back, and it was like.
No, it was. I think it was great because you're a very genuine person too. On a personal note, you're not selling. You're selling because we know that you have a product that you're offering, right? And obviously, it's like anyone, right? You don't know what you're getting from a personal trainer. You don't know what you're getting from a video team or whatever, right? So it's like we did that, we passed it, but like you're well spoken. It was comfortable. I think that's where I was at. It's like you could feel that for your brand. You're true in your brand.
That's the thing with sales, though, right?
Yeah.
It's only salesy if you have a shitty product.
Yeah.
If you know you're giving value, right? You walked in here knowing, right, I can do something for you guys, right? So we felt that. It felt genuine, and we said after that meeting, I feel like he can help us improve our brand and help us improve our company, right? Just like if someone walks in this door, I don't feel like I'm selling you on a membership. I think I'm giving you something that you want and you need, right, in order to improve your wellness.
Yeah.
Like that. So that's how we have to feel kind of when we're just selling our products. It's like, it's only salesy if you're trying to sell something that someone doesn't want, right?
Well, a mentor of mine said something similar. I mean, a little bit different, but he talked about repetition bias or something like that, which is like when you buy, you drive a Subaru. When you bought your Subaru, you probably saw more of them.
Oh,
No, I did.
Frequency
before I bought it.
Frequency.
Before I bought it, when I was thinking about buying it and I was looking at them, it was just, oh my God, there's another one, there's another one. Yeah, it just comes up.
I just got these shoes 3 weeks ago.
Now everyone has
and
them.
now everyone's
Yeah.
wearing these shoes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on?
Everyone was wearing them before, Steve. You copied them.
Yeah, but I didn't know that until I was wearing them. And then I saw everyone. I was like, oh, OC's wearing the same shoes? Okay. Yeah, that
I invented On Runner.
I don't know where I was going with that, but
Yeah.
that is that
it's-
frequency bias is
Yeah.
the thing. Oh, that's where I was going with it. Is if you know what problem you solve for people, you see it more often. Like if you can actually identify the problem I solve,
and
for
you know where to
people
go.
is X, Y, and Z. When you're out in the world, you'll see that problem more often.
Gotcha.
And so now you know. Now you're approaching someone from a standpoint of I'm going to help you with this problem, rather than buy my product.
Exactly.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
like it's
And-
not a sell. It's a
It makes it, as a person that's trying to pitch your services, it should feel better. Right. When you know that I'm actually, I'm helping you solve a problem.
Well, if you don't
I'm not
believe,
selling you
if
something.
you don't believe in it, you shouldn't be doing it anyway.
Totally.
Like,
sure.
If you're a salesperson or if it's your company, it's the same mentor actually. His name's Adam Hurd. He has a great organization here in Long Island and a great coaching program as well. And we were on a call like a week or two ago. I went on to like one of their free like courses. They do like a in-person thing over Zoom, and so he asked like, what's your competitive advantage? And some guy was like, I don't know what my competitive advantage is. And he was like, you should go work for someone else.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't own a business if you don't have a competitive advantage. If you don't believe in the product that you have and that you're better at it than someone else.
You're trying to make money.
Yeah, why are you?
Yeah.
Well, you can go make money under someone else who has a vision.
And being an entrepreneur is a way harder way to just
Make-
want to
Yeah,
make money.
exactly.
It sucks
I guess,
sometimes.
you know, if you don't believe
It's
in it
so
and have
tough.
that drawn out, you know.
No, that's great. So we ask everyone, right, as you've seen these podcasts and helped edit and script, we like to ask, what is wellness to you? Right, I know you've heard the question asked a
I
lot,
know.
but we'd love to hear
So
kind of
difficult
the answer.
being on this
Yeah.
end of it.
Don't copy anybody else either.
No, I don't even remember what other people said. Everything just went out of my mind right now because I'm so
Right.
nervous about answering this question.
No one actually knows. They just say random things.
No, I think wellness. No, wellness to me is being able to just operate at a high enough level in all areas of life, like having a good relationship, getting back into the gym and starting to become fit in that area, just being sustainable. I think for the long run is the short answer.
Yeah.
Setting up that sustainability and that even goes back to your other question, like advice for other people.
Yeah.
Things that have worked for me is like delegating, getting things off my plate, which is the toughest thing to do.
Yeah.
To like give OC a class was the first one that he did was by himself, was probably so tough for you to just sit there
Yeah.
and watch and not jump in and do it yourself or try to change something. But once you feel comfortable, now he's here all the time running those classes.
And now we don't do anything.
And you don't do anything. No, but you can do more important,
Yes.
higher leverage things for the business, and you can focus on things that are going to actually grow you over time rather than just making money in that hour that you're there.
True.
So I think that's the biggest thing that I would recommend is as soon as you're able to, if you want to build a business and not just build a job for yourself, is to let go of some things and test it out. Like I got Eric in the room probably earlier than I should have before I could really afford to hire someone. And then within 3 weeks, the business doubled.
Yeah. No,
Just
that's great.
because I had so much more room. And also drive to be like, I need to get more clients now.
Yeah. That's a really good point, right? Just telling people that, if you want to start something, if you want to scale this thing that you're trying to build, you need good people with you. Or, right, it's like that saying of, you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, right, go together. Right? Because you need a team in order to push further.
Yeah, I mean, I am in a unique situation where my wife has a job. So like, worst case scenario for me in this situation was
Stay at home dad.
it was damn, this fails, now I have to go get another job.
Yes.
But I was able to go all in because I had her support as well, and I was able to, take that risk that maybe some other people wouldn't be able to take.
Yeah.
So that in that scenario, in that situation, I'm very lucky.
Yeah. Shout out to Holly.
Yeah.
new 8-well member.
New A-Well member.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Crushing
Steve,
it.
we appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
For the work you do for us,
Yep.
right, for the brand, and
Big
right
time.
for spending some time with us during the busy work schedule.
I appreciate you guys turning this into a giant MMP commercial. I wasn't expecting it.
It's great.
It's cool.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm walking away. with
We're
some good
actually
stuff.
charging Steve for this podcast
Yeah.
here.
I'll gladly pay it.
He is the brand.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Yeah. thank
Where
you.
where should they find you? Where can they find MMP?
Instagram, MMP Creations. My website is mmpcreations.com. And you can email me at steve@mmpcreations.com.
Yeah, and check out the A-Well page for all the content that MMP helps us create.
Yep. And the Well Life podcast as well, which this video will be out on. They do a phenomenal job editing.
Wow.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, guys.